Could you tell us a little bit about your interest in sustainability or the city or
Well,
anything?
yeah, so I've been a permanent resident in Red Lodge now since 2020. But I lived here originally, from 2000 until 2002. But I work from home. I work for U.S. Bank as I do their marketing and customer research. I am definitely interested in sustainability because even though we are a small community, I came from I was in the Twin Cities, recycling was a very easy thing. You could just dump everything in one bin and they took it all for you. Living here, I was a member of the recycling center before it was part of the city, and I was very much supportive of the city taking that over. And so anything we can do to, maintain our resources here and, keep, is something that I think is important. So I was looking for an opportunity to get involved, and I sent a couple different letters, and, through kind of a chaos of things, I ended up here and also on the Resort Tax Committee Board.
Oh, wonderful.
Good.
Wonderful.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you for your interest in the city, That's super.
Thanks.
Okay, let's begin. We need a May secretary volunteer, and sadly, I will volunteer because I'd never volunteered when I was Zooming in. So I will volunteer again. So, now that I've got it under control. Everybody got the April minutes, except possibly you, Joy, did you get them?
I did not get them.
Okay. Well, we don't have a quorum yet.
You have 4 if you count your online.
We do.
Actually, you have 5 if you count your online.
Is Deb online too?
Deb
Yes.
is.
Oh, goody. Hey, Deb.
She's still on mute.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, could I have a motion to approve the April minutes?
Yep, I'll move to approve the April minutes.
Okay. They look.
And by the way, Joy, you are allowed to second and vote
Even though I
if
didn't
you
see
weren't
them?
there.
Yeah,
I'll
Pressing
it.
Pass on that one. He made it.
I made it, so
Mike.
Oh, there's
How
that.
about, Deb and Alan?
Someone seconds?
April minutes, okay with you?
Second?
Thanks.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Let's get those done. And we do have a new board member. Did you guys online, get introduced to Joy, our new board member?
No.
Did you hear her introduction?
No, I think that was muted.
No, they just weren't on yet.
Okay. Well, we're gonna make you do it all over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm Joy Goodwin, Red Lodge resident since 2020, and I'm just excited to be here and help out any way I can.
Perfect. Wonderful. All right, let's get rock and rolling. We've got, public comment on agenda items. Pete, you're our public.
Just hip hip hooray for the Arbor Day trees. And I mentioned to somebody somewhere about getting transportation for those trees to people who are immobile or housebound.
Okay, the people that sign up for trees?
Yes,
Okay, and we just get the trees to them, we're not planting for them?
whatever assistance they might need if they're incapable of planning, picking up, et cetera.
Okay, so,
And one of the gentlemen on the Parks Committee volunteered to use his trailer to do that.
That was Rod.
Right.
okay, so I think the Parks Board is handling that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I thought you all should be aware of it.
Absolutely. Okay,
Yeah,
Arbor Day,
Rod said he'd take care of it.
perfect. Trees for those unable, okay. And Parks Board has, that covered, thank you.
All right, did you? We have a hand.
Dave?
Being part of the public. Just as you guys are talking about recycling, and I have no idea how, what, or where this looks like, but I will tell you that I sure get, you were talking about where you came from, it was all there, you just all lumped it in together and you took it out front and it went out there. I will tell you that the feedback I get is if there's any way we figure out how to do that for the money of what we're doing, rather than making it be you have to go on certain days and certain times and take and everything, that you'll have a much happier public and, just as importantly, a much higher success rate. If the objective is to get recyclables recycled, that's a common piece of feedback that, from your
Yeah.
comments. that
If it
I-
happens at their
I think
home.
Ryan Kaufman said that they might, he touched on being able to do that
Really?
in Republic.
Yeah, and
Really?
we are going into those conversations with Republic,
Oh.
soon off, but I just wanted to throw in, like I said, I don't know how feasible or possible or realistic it is, but certainly I would like to see it in the conversation, because you will have, even the people who use the recycling center were not big fans of the $6 everything, but I think that changes substantially if what you get is home service.
I've been in front of the home where everything goes in, yeah.
Actually, that did happen for a momentary, maybe, Pete, do you live in town? I don't remember, but it did happen here in town. Republic did offer that service,
Oh.
a one-size-fits-all bin for recycling. Residents had to pay extra for that service, for that particular bin. And it did happen, but then, it went away in Billings and it went away in Red Lodge, and that was my
Same time,
understanding. So, and I don't know,
When I talked to him about it, his thing was it would have to be, the only way they could make it work is that everybody did it.
Mhm.
It couldn't be a choice.
Everybody
Republic
would have to
said
pay.
everybody, all or none.
And everyone's used to that now with the fee, I think.
I've gotta talk to him anyway, I'll
That would be
poke
exciting.
around, ask him a few more questions.
And the compost thing.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves now. Okay,
That was
so,
just public comment.
that was public comment. Okay, I think what we need to do is, re-invite Ryan Kaufman back in and, just say,
I think he'd be more than happy to.
I think he would. He was very amenable to that. Ryan Kaufman is our liaison with Republic.
Okay.
And I don't know what his official title is. Do you know what his official, I don't know, it
I
doesn't
don't.
matter. But anyway, he's our Republic liaison.
He's our point man.
When was, just on an aside, Dave, when was the last time, isn't Republic due for a contract?
Next year, it's actually 2025, we'll have a new contract in place, I believe.
I thought it'd be good to
24.
start talking.
Okay,
soon.
good, okay. All right, grants update. Northwest Energy, Alan, have you heard anything?
Yep.
No, I have not since late March when they replied to one of my emails saying that Sean was no longer working with them, and so it's been 6.5 months now, 7 months. So this is quite a delay, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear anything.
Whoa, Mike Maples just handed me a piece of paper. Thank you very much.
From last week, I thought it went out to everybody.
No, it says, I'm just gonna read this. Northwest Energy is willing to contribute $6,500 to the City of Red Lodge Recycling Center,
Oh,
in a project proposal that included a 3-kilowatt, solar voltaic PV system with an estimated project cost of $8,200.
oh,
Okay, this
Hey,
is an
that's
offer
great.
of,
wow.
that's super, that's
I
super.
think they did 90% on both.
Okay.
90%.
And we also had another one for,
That's the next sheet,
all right.
Public Works.
Hey, and then now, on the other one, Northwestern Energy is willing to contribute $20,000 to the
Ooh.
City of Red Lodge Public Works Building Project proposal, including a blah, blah, blah system with an estimated project cost of $24,000. Oh, man, that's huge.
Wow, Very
I
nice.
think they did 90%.
90%.
Wow.
Wow. Okay,
That's great
That's-
news.
90% funded for both projects.
Do they need to be completed within this year?
Probably, I'm
Mhm.
gonna call that guy and talk to him, and I've gotta look and see if we've got money, like even in Public Works, I think I can pull, it's like $2,600, is that what I have scribbled in the corner?
You have $47.50.
$47.50,
That's what we have to, still have to, the city has to pay for both projects?
No, for
this project?
this project, this one is
Oh, yeah.
1,700. This one I think we can do out of this year's budget. This one on recycling, I'm not sure. Recycling budget is a little murky at the moment, so, but we could put it in next year's budget.
Okay, so we could actually get rolling on the
I think the first thing we have to do is, this project should not proceed until the interconnection request is approved and we have executed project incentive agreement signed by both parties, so that's probably the next step.
Okay.
Is to-
Is the ball in your court then?
Sure.
Okay, so,
Henry Dykema knows all about this, so I would get in touch with him at Sundance Solar if you haven't already.
I will call him about something else anyway.
okay.
Wow, that's great, guys. That's fantastic.
That's great.
Thank you, Alan, for writing that grant.
Yes, thank you.
Nice.
That's huge,
Alan, yep,
huge.
thank you, Mike.
Okay.
I hope it pleases.
Yes.
Well, I didn't do
You know,
anything.
Northwestern Energy has been a good partner.
I just received the email, so.
That's awesome. That's perfect. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, well, that's good news. The next one is Arbor Day. We got a couple things to talk about on Arbor Day. I know Parks Board is handling it, the Arbor Day grant, all that kind of stuff. I know, Mary Dell, who is unable to be here, she's attending high school graduations somewhere else on the West Coast, I think. But anyway, she wanted us to make sure that we stay in touch somehow with the Parks Board, because they're gonna need volunteers.
You need a lot of volunteers.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna be,
And not,
And
people to
that's-
help kind of with the logistics of it, not so much the tree planting part.
Oh,
You
okay,
know, kind of shuffling people here or there.
not a problem, not a problem.
well, that's coming up. The
when
next
is-
meeting we have to
June
resolve.
15th is the
15th.
day.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's,
gosh, the next meeting, no, this is
no,
it.
this is it.
This is
This
it.
is our last meeting before Arbor
Yeah.
Day. So, I'm hoping that, who chairs the Parks Board now? Who is that?
Roger
Roger
Mullensdorf.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do.
Sarah
You see him.
Thorson, is that her name?
Okay.
She's the one
Anyway,
kind of
would
ramrodding the
you-
whole day.
Would you let them know that,
Mm-hmm.
we will, be more than happy to
No,
volunteer?
they'll be reaching out to you.
And Mary
Okay.
Dell will be at that meeting, she's on the Parks Board,
Right,
so she can
right,
connect.
yeah.
So do you know about, Joy, about this grant, Arbor Day grant?
No.
Okay, the city received, what, 30,000?
38.
$38,000.
For, planting trees. Originally, it was written for along the, Rock Creek, well,
The flooded
area
area.
flooding, but a lot of that, there wasn't enough soil, so they're finding parks and places along Rock Creek, and then there are, how many trees for individual citizens?
We're gonna do 100 trees to give away and 38 to plant. And then there'll be
Okay.
6 more that are big ones that, Public Works will plant
Okay,
later or before. or
doesn't have to
something.
be on that day, okay. So June 15th, rather than doing an Earth Day this year, sort of knew this was in the works.
June 15th at 9 a.m., and I just forwarded that invitation in for information to Corey.
Good, good, good.
Okay,
And so we'll need volunteers to apparently do a number of things.
okay.
We'll find out.
Well,
They
they're
might
gonna
be-
have to let us
They
know.
might be helping the day before too, kind of getting ready.
No problem,
Yeah.
no problem. Just let us know how we can be helpful, okay? Alan, you're probably not gonna be back in town on the June 15th, are you?
Correct, I will not.
Okay. Deb, are you gonna be around June 15th? Maybe?
I'm up here, Art Maxwell's funeral service is at the fairgrounds after St. Agnes service. I don't know what time on the 15th, but I'll be here for that.
Okay, I will be too, so we'll work around, that event, okay?
Okay,
Okay,
I'm free all day.
all right,
Day
well,
before,
we'll,
too.
we'll figure it out and we'll reach out to some other potential
I was
volunteers.
gonna say, I can reach out to Rotary if we have the details.
Oh,
Perfect.
great.
We'll get them,
Great.
we'll get them.
Actually, Rotary's been a partner in this
I was
whole
gonna say,
thing.
they probably already know about it.
Yeah.
Because it's the Rotary Park, so.
Right,
Okay.
right. Okay, perfect. Okay, now, and the last one is, the MDOT EV Chargers grant. This was left in the air from last fall. We submitted, I believe a grant was submitted to, set up EV chargers at, the Civic Center. These are the Civic Center ones.
Yeah.
We were also looking for possibly a solar canopy for those. You know, I don't know if the grant would cover that, but anyway, Chelsea, the former, city planner, was taking care of it. I don't know
Courtney.
where it is. Courtney, rather, so, excuse me.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that, Dave?
I do not. The answer is no.
Okay. Chelsea was gonna look into that.
Yeah.
If Chelsea will look into that, I'll reach out to Courtney, okay? So I will check with Courtney and see if the grant was even written. I'm not sure, okay? So that was something way back there. Okay, next thing on our agenda, reusable bag committee report. Yay, what's going on?
Bags. So Mary Dell and I were talking about a couple of things. We still need to get them to the, food cupboard. I was supposed to do that, but then because of my knee, I didn't get that done. So, have you been there? Do you know if they need more bags?
They can always use more bags.
Yeah, so I'll get a box over there.
Okay,
But we do have some boxes of these. Mary Dell took another box to the recycling center. Yeah, nice grocery style bag. There are a bunch of these still. But what Mary Dell and I were wondering about, we've got the budget. And we're looking at, I don't know if you know, but the legislature had said that no community could enact any kind of laws banning plastic bags in stores. That got overturned. So it's possible that we could, put in a law that stores can't use plastic bags, but we really don't want to go there. So if we continue to push for people using their own bags, we're wondering if we need to or want to buy some more good quality grocery style bags that say City of Livingston, so they're available to give away, so we can keep encouraging.
City of Red Lodge.
City of Red Lodge, what did I say?
Livingston. It's okay.
I'm from Livingston originally.
Has there been any thought about, rather than like banning plastic bags, putting like a surcharge on the bag?
That could be done too. That could be done.
We need
Yeah.
to reach out to the, business community. We're gonna tread lightly on this. I would really like, the city attorney to verify that this is something that is happening we've heard it's happening in Bozeman and in Missoula, of course. And we wanna make sure that that's happening. Can we get the Dennison to do that?
Oh, this is a legal opinion on fees for plastic bags?
No, just
on-
just a citywide ordinance banning, plastic bags by businesses, giving out plastic bags.
Oh, I think we could look and see if it's happening. I think it's, in the pre-voting stage.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my
I
friends in
would-
Bozeman didn't know anything about it yet, but it's,
Okay.
so.
There would be two parts. One would be the legality of it from the city attorney. The second one would be go to that, to the, trying to think which committee would be the most suited for that. But basically, that's a decision that ultimately would be made by city council. So if there's an ordinance, then.
Oh, obviously, that would
Yeah.
go through city council, but we just wanna make sure that, I just wanna make sure it's true.
So I have that, and then validate the MCA, and basically get the legal opinion on that. But then the second thing I would say is to go to, that, would it be public health and safety, or would it be?
Oh, it's, what does the, Business Alliance fall under?
They don't, they're completely separate, so.
Yeah, but I
There's
think-
licensing that's under admin, would be licensing and registration. The reality is, what you want is a straw poll from the full council to find out if there's an appetite at all. My guess is that there isn't, but that is how I would approach it, were I in your shoes, is I would go to the probably public health and safety, I think, is the committee that it would probably start with, and ask them to do it. And then if we find out that it's not a legal option prior to that point, that cuts down on the need of it.
And it's probably gonna fall largely on IGA. So maybe,
And IGA
Weighing
is
what they-
fully on board. They
are totally on
push
board.
bags and
Yeah,
push
they do.
bags and ask for
Exactly.
more and more
Yep.
and more. So they're fully on board in supporting that. But they also do it as a choice, rather
right,
than, Natural Grocers. If you go to Billings and go shopping, you show up with your bags or your boxes.
aren't any, which is,
They don't even have, they don't
No.
have bags,
Yeah.
so.
and so it might be interesting to approach the IGA and say, if this were down the road to happen, would you prefer the surcharge or the no bag?
Right, right. But I also think, we should go, my question, and it's probably a question for you, Dave, is, do we go through, I'd like to get the legality figured out first.
And I've taken that as an action item.
Okay, thank you. And then once, if it's established that, yes, this is happening around the state, if this is something that could be a reality, I would like to go back to, I would think you'd go back to the, Business Alliance and say, hey, this is a possibility, are you interested? When we met with the Business Alliance before, it was about a year and a half ago, and they were like, yes, let's, that's where we had,
Yeah, we started,
these posters,
we put posters around and,
just kind of
Offer
a soft sell of, getting the mindset in people's heads about, bring your own bag, or,
Or
whatever.
there's a lot of them that use paper bags just by choice. If you go
Right.
to Lewis and Barks,
so
Yes.
they have paper bags, as do many of the places.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if, like, IGA is probably like the biggest store in town that's using plastic bags. If we almost like, rather than, doing a ordinance or whatever, working with them to just say, hey, let's just stop using, like, just don't even give bags anymore. And have a recycling, like, have a box at the front of the store, so when people have, what do you do with your plastic bag? So people can put their bags in there, and if people forget a bag, they could grab a plastic bag that's already been used or something.
I think that's problematic, because
with the grocery store.
Oh.
with the grocery store, because there could be,
other
food
things in it.
remnants,
Yeah, I guess
like
that
that.
makes
They do make it up to the dog park, and then what'll happen is the first 3 get used, and then somebody puts a bag on its second use into the whole bag and ruins
Well,
the
we
whole
had
bag.
wanted to have a basket with, reusable
Yeah.
bags there. They said you can't do that in the grocery store because of,
I didn't even
Of
think about
health.
that.
Food court.
Yeah.
but if we buy 1,000, and IGA has
Well, and then,
purchased
I
1,000
think,
bags.
again, Ryan Kaufman said
Yep.
he's
He's
got
got a
an
ton.
unlimited
Right.
supply of them.
So
for
if
free.
we help IGA with some boxes of bags that they
Reach out
could
to him.
say, I agree,
I talked
that
to
might
him,
be
I'll
a
ask him about
better,
that too.
route.
Making them available is
Yeah.
never gonna be problematic. I have found everybody always supports that, whether they use them or
Mhm.
remember them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But as far as you start talking about anything that's an ordinance, assuming it's legal to do, to me, that would be one of those ballot issues. That would be one of those that the only way to address it would be give it to the public at large.
And they are good about the IGA about asking, so you could almost just have a few plastic bags, do you really need a plastic bag?
Well,
So that's
and,
one way of,
you know, I've been in other cities where, it's a special part of the computer thing where it says how many bags did you use?
Yeah, but that's, they're charging you like a nickel or a
Yeah.
dime or something.
Yeah, they're charging you for the bags, right. So that's something different, but it's also an add-on in the computers, and so that's a cost to the store. So, anyway, so I'm hearing you guys say we should first go to the IGA and say, well, I would first like to hear from legal about this. And second of all, if this is really a possibility statewide, go to the IGA and say, hey, how could we work
how can we
together
help,
to do this?
what can we do?
How
What
can
do
we
to encourage more?
eliminate, and we are a tourist town, we get that. So people are gonna forget their bags and stuff, and,
If there's a nice Red Lodge bag there, you know, they'd probably even buy one. The issue we would need to deal with pretty soon is our budget.
okay, coming up to budget. So we have $1,000 in our budget.
Okay.
So what is the reusable bags, recommendation?
We're thinking of getting now this doesn't have the bottom in it. It's nice if they, you know, fold up, but they have a,
The flat bottom.
Yeah.
Flat cardboard bottom.
right, and some even have a plastic bottom in there. And so I was looking today, and they'd be a lot less expensive than the bags we got last year.
Corey, can I make a clarification based on my understanding, and then you push back if my understanding is wrong?
Sure.
So when you say $1,000 budget, my understanding is this committee, like all the other committees we have, really in fact don't have a budget. Council has a budget that they approve, but we've allocated some, and it sounds to me like $1,000 to be spent based on your recommendations.
Correct.
And so while that's subtle, I just want to compare notes to make sure we're on the same page. Because I know like on the Parks Board, there was almost an extent of where are our checks and where do we sign and where do we write, and it's not. It's all those committees make recommendations to the cities, here's how we'd like to see $1,000
Oh,
spent
okay, we
for this arena, here's our recommendation.
okay.
Is that in line with your understanding and how things have done historically?
We did not do that
Not last year, we did not,
We did not do that.
Who
that
signed
last
the
year.
check? Or who wrote the check?
I would assume Lonnie.
So I think the difference in this too, and I think it's where the Parks Board got confused, is how we're phrasing this a little bit, is it is the budget of Sustainability Board, but that budget is approved first by council. And as long as it's within that budget, you have the ability to actually apply that and get the city to make those payments. That is my understanding.
Okay. And my understanding is that this is just an advisory, and that's not to say that they don't follow that advice, it's just that, I can go jump out and look at the,
Because when I talked to Jody, that's how she has, like, because when we started talking to her about Parks Board stuff, we wanted to get things moving along. She's like, we don't need to run this through. It's already been approved by the council when you guys submitted your budget.
I think there's not $1,000 in a pot somewhere, but if you have a justifiable reason to spend it, and ask,
well,
No, we
If
have
it's
to
in
ask
the
first.
budget,
We
yeah.
have to
Yeah.
ask
If it's in
first.
the budget, then it's already been approved. That's the way that I look at it.
so I think we're just talking semantics here.
Yeah.
You have
Okay.
$1,000, just don't do anything silly.
So I have a suggestion, and I just want to throw this out, if we do indeed have $1,000. It sounds like, we can get more reusable bags from Republic.
Right.
We still have some here. So, rather than getting more reusable bags, it'd be nice to have sustainability board on them and stuff, that'd be really cute, but
Good,
it's
good.
not necessary.
No, it's not.
What would happen if we used $1,000 to help pay the $1,700 for the, solar panels that the city has to belly up for the, recycling center?
Recycling center, that's-
And wondering if, $700 could be found someplace to complete that project.
Yeah, I think I just need to look at the recycling center's budget and probably see where the $1,000 is probably in some budget. It's not in, I don't think the sustainability board is a line item in the budget.
Sure.
So you have to find out where that's at. And see if we can, I crossed it over, you know, if it's in public works, certainly that'd be easy, cause, well, it'd be a budget amendment probably to get it into the recycling budget, if the recycling center doesn't have money right now.
Or
But
it
we're
comes
doing-
from Harvard.
We're starting a new budget in July.
July 1.
We budget for it in recycling, 1,700 for solar panels, and everything's good. That makes
We
sense.
have the room for it.
Has to come from the right,
Yeah,
A lot of
we gotta
money.
figure out.
I understand that.
yeah.
And so just to clarify on the semantics, this is from
But no, it's a great use for the money,
Yeah.
put it towards that.
Yes.
the purpose of the Red Lodge Sustainability Board is to assist the mayor, city council, and city staff in implementing the strategies of the City of Red Lodge Energy Conservation Plan as an advisory board. So it's basically gonna,
It all
It's
filters through. Yep.
probably it's gonna be budget-wise, it's gonna be through Mike. And by the way, Mike's not always gonna be able to come to these. He is our staff representative for
Oh,
Parks
right.
right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't wanna, and he's doing a fantastic job, as I'm sure, I hope everybody's noticed as they go around town. But he is not necessarily, depending on the load of these, he's not officially transitioned to that yet, so you can beat up on me. But anytime there's money involved or get stuff done involved and we're ready for an action item, I'll invite him
Absolutely.
on and as needed.
That's why we thought this would be a good time, because we're talking about future projects.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I like
So-
the idea, if we can roll the 1,000 into whatever, roll it back in to be used for.
this
That's all
year's, hopefully, this year's sustainability board, $1,000.
Rather than
Do we
going
need a
into next
motion
year's.
for that? Or is,
All your motion would be as a recommendation of what to do with it, if you
Yeah.
want, and then that can get relayed on to council.
what, Deb and Alan, what do you think about that?
Motion.
Oh, it's an interesting idea. I didn't know you could do that, but, if we can roll it into something else, that we need, even more importantly, maybe, I'd be for it.
Sounds good to me.
And if there's 1,000 there, it doesn't have to be spent this year. You can roll it over and spend it in July too. This idea that money must be spent or it
Oh.
evaporates only belongs in
Oh, then,
teenagers and.
So that's different.
different
That's-
than what we
that's a
understood last year,
different-
yeah,
That's a different
Okay, that's-
mindset,
that's good,
okay?
that's
So
good.
thank you.
We like that.
So it sounds like there might be some, some acquiescence about this potential idea. Could we get a motion to make a recommendation to the Public Works Committee? And I would assume we go through Public Works first.
That would be
and then
Public Works, yeah.
Go through Public Works, and Public Works would take it to council.
Yep.
To use the $1,000 that was budgeted to the Sustainability Board for this fiscal year, and I might be saying this wrong, and roll that over to the recycling center to be used for, towards the city's match on the solar panels. think
I would
just made a
love
motion.
to,
You said you'd entertain a motion of such, somebody would have to so move.
I so move what you said.
Okay.
And I
There you
said
go.
second. I don't know if I actually vote in this one, but.
Well, is there any discussion? Everybody got that?
No, I don't think there's anything really pressing that we need, as a board, and if we can support the recycling center, that was one of our huge goals
Right.
last year and this year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can help the recycling center, I think that'd be
Okay.
great.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Again, he's looking to see if I can vote right now.
Sure, why not? Okay.
I see him
Can
digging
we
away.
make sure we don't forget to look for the other $700 somewhere?
No, I'm gonna
No.
look once I clear the water in the recycling budget, it might be in
And,
there.
and I've also got basically just to look where this $1,000 is, because if it is switching departments, Mike is right, there's a little bit more paperwork involved in that, it's a budget amendment. So if
Yep.
it's like going from parks to recycling.
Yep.
But there was some interesting things set up on recycling to make sure that it was like its own little enterprise fund as well. So it may have a pretty solid walled garden on it.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
Oh, cool. One other thing which helps us get across the finish line is that any money that the city of Red Lodge spends out of its own pocket, at least 30% of that we would be entitled to get as a direct pay version of the tax credit. And so 30%, at least 30%, maybe more if we can argue that we're a former mining community by the IRS's guidelines, we should get back after the money is spent, and maybe that's something to talk to the professional city finance and legal people, but that would get us 30% closer.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
And we're probably gonna spend more than $8,200.
Absolutely.
I mean,
But,
we're gonna spend $200 just to get the application in for our level 1 small generator interconnection request, so,
okay,
Leave that, huh?
but
okay. All
I
right,
don't think it's a totally hard and fast number, those two estimated project costs.
okay,
So,
okay, thank you. All right, well, we will revisit this in, June and see if there's any progress on, these grants, and I think the ball is a lot in your court. Okay, thank
yep,
you.
I
Thank you
talked
so
to
much.
Lonnie about this morning, and, we're gonna start out by getting these applications in, and then get the, project incentive agreement signed by both parties, and then that should kind of get the ball rolling.
Okay.
So that's where we're gonna start.
Nice. Okay, and then, new business, gathering of potential or continuing projects for the coming fiscal year. This is a biggie, guys. Everybody was to come up with their 3 wishes, or 4, or 5, or 2.
So
Or
that was out
something.
of these?
Hey, they could be out of there, or just out of the energy conservation plan. Mine aren't necessarily from there, okay? So, I'm taking minutes, and I'm willing to, go first. Okay, so these are my 3 wishes that I think, and I need to know if they're doable. So the first one is, I would like to see it back to the recycling center. This project was initiated last year by, to move the fence and hopefully do some sort of a drive-through or a drive-around to make it easier for people to recycle. I don't know where it's at right now. I don't even know if the fence has been moved. I know that there was problems with the boundary with Yellowstone Wildlife.
I think that's getting negotiated.
Yeah, if I can, give me 2 seconds to share my screen, and I can show you some lovely.
Some lines, boundaries.
And we don't have to go into each one of these. What I'd like to do is, just list our projects, and I'd like, because we're gonna run out of time, and I wanna make sure that we have, you can say, oh, we're working on this, or we don't have to go into a lot of detail, but, I do want everybody to have a chance to say their 3 wishes. So my second wish, while Dave is,
It's there when you are. So the red line
Okay.
is the current fence. The funny yellow shaded stuff, if I can get this stuff right here is the current property line. And so what happens, you can see that the bison enclosure and then the space outside the bison enclosure is actually on city land, not inside of the stuff that was previously given to the city. And so what we're doing is we're actually trading some land here with some land over here, which means the new recycling center is all of this available.
Well, we got,
There's some, there's storm sewer and other
we
things
got-
that are in there, but this is where that fence is going to be, and it's not there. but you can see that that opens up the possibility of a
Okay.
whole lot more than just
The
what's right
red
here.
line's gonna be the fence,
Mhm.
Okay.
but we do have, where the blue's at, we've got storm, and where
We
the
can't put
green's at,
buildings
we've got
on it.
sewer.
Mhm.
But it definitely, that would probably be the best thing we could do with the recycling center is make it so you could drive through there. And I keep bringing Brian Kaufman up, I don't know why, but he brought that, he brings
Because
that
you
up
both
every
looked
time.
down there and said, this is a
He-
disaster
he
waiting
says
to
it's
happen.
The safety,
Backing up.
Yeah.
this nightmare,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
he talked about on one of their sites in Missoula, somebody got ran over and killed, backed over.
Backing up.
And I can see that, I mean, that is
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a mess, having a drive-through would be
Right.
in everybody's, it's a good idea.
I think this would buy a lot of PR for the recycling center and for the city.
Oh, yeah, and it's just, and it would reduce the potentially
It's a
huge
safety issue.
liability.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my first one. My second, wish is I would like, the city to, I would really like to get at least one electric car in the city fleet and try it and see if it's gonna work. It's debatable whether it's gonna work, in our particular climate. I think it will. It's debatable whether it will be, usable, for the city as far as driving and how much, how far a police car would go. There's pros and cons on each one, but I would like to at least plant the seed that we start to look into that. So that's my second wish. And my third one is, composting. I would love to see food waste composting come back, but also I would love to see tree and branches. We're gonna have another wind event. It's inevitable. It would be really nice to see if there was a place where, these people could bring their trees and branches, or if they could be picked up by whomever and crunched down and reused.
Why did you not explicitly call out grass?
Well, let's put grass on there too. Yes.
Yard waste.
Thank you. That's a great idea, because that's a good wet compost. So, those are my three. Mary Dell, did give me her three. And I only remembered two of them, but I think I've got the third one. She, of course, wanted composting back in. That's a huge one as far as, she's concerned. She too was interested in electric cars and, seeing if we could get something going there. And I can't remember her third one. I apologize, Mary Dell, but we'll get back to you. Okay? So, Julie, did you come up with anything?
Well, mine are, compost is number one,
Oh,
getting, food waste back in as well as yard waste, because for that time,
What was your
it
number
was so
one?
nice to be able to take things out to that county site, so,
Yes.
Yard waste, composting. Anything else we can do to support the recycling center? If there's signage or anything that would help the recycling center, help get more recycling happening, get more recycling stuff out of the garbage stream.
right.
That's basically my big one, those are my big ones.
Those are your big ones.
I'll continue with paper bags.
Okay.
Plastic bags, no plastic bags, whatever.
Okay, Deb, how about you? Did you come up with any ideas that you'd like to explore?
Well, I like all those, the food waste, grass, I love that. Gotta make good use of that. Otherwise it's really an asset to have that and make it into good compost. Because buying soil is so expensive. Let's make some. And, the other ones, let's see. The drive-through is really important for safety. I think it's just an accident waiting to happen the way it is now, so that was a big one too.
Did you have any others that you were thinking of, that you'd like to see the city, tackle? I mean, these are projects that we could start looking for grants for, too.
Yeah. Tree trimming. You know, we don't trim the trees as often as we could, and, they get nasty looking and full of branches and are dangerous. So I've always liked the idea of tree trimming.
Willie's been on that.
We're tackling that under public parks too.
Yeah,
That and Mother Nature helps us out about every year or two.
okay, thanks. Thanks, Deb. Alan, how about you?
No, those all sound great, thanks.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I think you hit on the main points. No, nothing at this time, thanks.
Okay. I looked at the McKinstry report, and I was looking mostly at things that would be, possible. And there's a lot of things that I think are in progress, but, you know, programmable thermostats,
Yeah, that's one.
you know, things like that. I think, you know, that's something that each department has to, you know, has to take ownership on.
I went through, you mean, you're talking about this?
Yeah, I'm talking about this guy, yeah.
I went through that, and a few of those are real easy, we can get to
Yeah.
Public Works,
And some of
Certainly.
them are done in parts of departments or parts of buildings, but not the whole building. So, and I don't know which ones are and which ones aren't.
now, those are, the little items on that list are very doable. Some, I can't read this without my glasses, see if these will work. These are bifocals. I don't know how to use them.
But we're hoping that, Public Works is gonna take a look at, you know, for the next fiscal year and say, oh, this is something, you know, this is I hate the term low-hanging fruit, but
Yeah.
it is kind of we've done a lot of low-hanging fruit, but,
Some of these are pretty easy.
okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything here that we mentioned, recycling center, electric cars, composting?
The only thing on the composting, we did that in Shoto, but we did our own garbage there. And we didn't allow people to put yard waste in the garbage.
Right.
They had to bring it, we'd had a bin set up, just like giant,
Yeah.
and they could drop it off there. And then we also did leaf collection in Shoto, where people could bring their leaves, or they raked them to the curb, we sucked them up. And then we did a compost site just outside of town that was permitted with the DEQ, but we're not able to do food
Yeah, okay.
because of bears.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it worked really good. And once we got up and running, it really wasn't that much money, but I don't know how you do it here where, you know, people would have to bring their stuff to the site.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, but,
And then
I would.
you'd wanna do it somewhere, I think, by the DEQ permit, you have to be 500 feet from anybody to smell. So I don't know where,
So down by
Yeah.
the recycling center wouldn't work because
I don't
it's too close
think
to
so.
other things?
For the composting,
Mm.
for yard waste and stuff?
Yeah, grass stinks. Like, it
Oh,
doesn't
and they,
smell
they,
good,
they,
yeah.
they have a long list of rules, you have to be so far from the water, you have to build berms around it to control runoff.
So, I know in the
But it's not
past,
hard, but you just need a site.
Well,
could we do a
That-
city-county thing?
What's that?
Could we do a city-county thing?
I poured that land up on the hill.
Yeah, are you just thinking about the poop fields? That's what I was just thinking, this is
Yeah.
something we could do up on the old spread fields.
yeah, 'cause I mean, that was one thing in the past when we've had big windstorms, we used to do the tree dump
Yeah.
over by the waste, or the.
But we did that
Center.
for burning, that wasn't shipping or
I don't know
recycling,
where
that
you
was
get all
just for
your,
removal.
you know, we would develop, like, massive amounts of that. I don't, in Shoto, because you couldn't, right now, you'd have to, pretty much, if you did that, you'd have to make it illegal to put grass in garbage cans.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they did it.
Yeah.
And then we generated all of our brown, because it's green and brown, with the leaves. And I'm not gonna suggest we pick up leaves in Red Lodge, because that's horrific for a city crew. And it's a
Yeah.
it's a money pit.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
But, I think we did make a lot of compost every year.
Okay, well, let's tuck
Okay.
that away, because
Yeah.
that might be something that this committee could help research and take a look at, and that might be something we could help out with.
Yeah, and then the thing to really look at is if you're gonna get enough, if there's enough potential volume out there to really justify all the work and diesel fuel you put into it.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta get to where you're actually producing a lot, I think.
I was gonna say, what did you do with it after it was
We,
collected and
it
smelled
was
like?
free to residents of the
Yeah.
city. And,
Love that.
and it went away.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get, I mean, we didn't police it very much but we had a place for people to drop it off in town, and we loaded it in trucks and hauled it out. And spent a year out at the compost site, and we'd mix it and put water on it, put water on it, and transfer it different stages, and then at the end, we bring it all into town, and people could come take it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And it got abused by people out of town and contractors, but we didn't really care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least it disappeared.
It
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah, just put it in, so like.
Went away.
Oh, my gosh. Well, let's, that might be something that we could take a look at.
One question on that, did you have like drop-off times, or was it just open
Nope,
anytime?
it was open.
Perfect, that's what I wanna know.
How did you police it, and make sure people weren't putting their
They were pretty good about
regular
it.
trash and stuff within it?
We had a sign up there
Particularly branches.
that said no branches, and every now and then you'd get a bad apple, and, we had a camera set up out there, and
Oh.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh.
Because we had a problem with,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Republic Big Bin, outside the recycling center, and we had that for quite a while.
I love
You know,
that.
cardboard only, but, somebody puts in their trash, they,
Oh.
and, it ruins the entire, it spoils the whole thing.
The camera up, let's do it again, because I mean, that's probably my biggest reason for not recycling, is I just don't have, again, I'm 30 minutes late tonight because I'm constantly working. I have very small windows, and trying to fit into that recycling window can be really tough.
Yep, I've heard
Yeah.
that from a lot of people. Kids have athletic stuff on Saturday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I
Even
just-
just like the aluminum can thing,
Got
having
them
that.
share apartment. I took my dog
Yeah,
to bed.
right.
Thanks, Pete,
you have anything to add?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
And if you have
Yeah.
big stuff, like, okay, I get it, but, I mean, it saves us on manpower, it saves us on energy, and it allows a lot more people to be utilizing it, and I guarantee you would see quadruple the amount, if not more, actually utilizing the recycling center,
If what?
if you had bins again.
Okay.
that's what we had.
We gotta work through Republic on that.
I was just looking at cameras earlier today, you can get a camera for $35.
I still gotta clean up the mess. We had cameras on our recycling too, and
That's fair, but I mean,
probably three
that's what that guy on Wednesday,
times a
Saturday
week.
does.
We need to have a blowout down there. Because we just had compactors outside, people, it was self-service, when it was full, we made a bail and pulled it out of there, but you get people that pull up and just throw it all on the ground.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely
And
true. We
it-
tried recycling bins,
It's
Mm.
the bad apples.
yeah. And for,
Could be open
sadly,
longer.
What's that?
Can you have one day you're open longer, so people like Chelsea, and it seems like a lot of them can make
Yeah.
go themselves to the
Part of
recycle.
that, I think, gets back to the conversation we started with, is that several people weren't here for, which was, as we go into
Yeah.
conversations with the Republic, see what we can get back on the table again, because even beyond yours, if it's curbside, or if it's, then suddenly, boom, everybody's there.
Yep.
Rather than.
That would be ideal.
all right, on the table. The only other thing I have on my, and it's not on my list, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna just talk about this really quickly. This is, I was going through my stuff, and this is, I'm not sure who is keeping track of what utilities are, how much energy each utility is being used. We always had, an Energy Corps person, keeping track of that stuff, and then, the city planner kept track of that. And I don't know who's doing it now. I don't know how to do it.
For everything in general,
Yeah,
yeah, it was always that Vista person
Yeah.
we had when.
yeah. So, here's an example, and I don't know whose court that ball is in, but somebody should be keeping track of energy usage in the city.
We have certain line items that we could probably compile and pull that are just there by virtue of that those line items exist
Yeah,
for electric or.
I went through and figured out for the PRV versus the booster station, just see how that would wash out.
Mhm.
And it's not easy. You gotta go through all the bills, one by one. There's nothing, Danae can't pull a report on it.
It's not, okay.
Yeah, it's not the dollar amount we're looking for, it's the usage amount, and the change and vary.
Wouldn't
Well,
the
this-
provider be able to pull like a report for you?
I would bet you.
I mean,
yeah,
I know,
possibly.
so, yeah, 'cause like I know we do reporting at the bank for, 'cause like we have the Voyager fleet card, and people wanna know how energy efficient their fleets are, and that's a report that they can just pull. So I would think like if we're using Northwestern Energy or, you know, whatever, like they should be able to just pull a report and say, this is what you've used in a
I'll
year.
call
They
her,
absolutely
I'll call
can.
her
I mean,
friend
they can do
Lisa
it for-
Perry.
Yeah,
Individual properties, that I imagine since we're being charged, then
yeah.
they gotta have that
We
somewhere.
can look at, it. The one thing to be aware of, so the first pass at the budget with this kind of salaries and cost of living stuff in it, I think the first pass roughly were like 63,000 over in the general, with a position gone and everything else. And so we are gonna have to, so the rules, Corey knows, because she was on council as well. We have to be balanced and we have to maintain our cash reserves. Everything else is open for discussion, but those two things are. So when you start saying, oh, we used to have a person who could do this, and it's kind of like, we're already down a person and we're 63,000 over, so.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that this is, I hate to add more to anybody's, workload, but this is something that,
I think we do what she
We-
suggested.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll call Lisa Perry and see if
Yeah.
somebody can just generate, if they
yeah,
Which
can
part
set it up on their report and email us a report once a month that's broke down.
I do agree with you, Corey, it's
Yeah.
important to keep data and keep records, so that way you have something to reflect on, it's better for grants too.
right,
And
right.
it also shows if you're making progress or not, and I'm a big fan of
Right.
collecting data, so.
Well, and this was precipitated by, the pool committee, wondering, what about the solar there? The solar was not used, it was it was there for 8 months or something, and generating, you know, whatever it was doing. But, they want to make sure that they can justify the solar panels on the pool roof.
Well, I think
Yeah, you
part- I think
explained
that's
that
part of it. Well, yeah, and I think part of that's coming into that is they're paying for the internet there 8 months of the year that they're not using it because solar needs it,
Yeah, and it's expensive.
and that's expensive.
Right.
So that's why they're kind of like, is it paying our internet bill?
Yeah, 'cause
I think is the
It's
question.
a big bill, like when I first saw it.
Oh, wow, I didn't
what the hell is
know
this?
that.
Like,
Yeah, it's like, and I don't wanna say a number, 'cause I won't have it right, but it's a good number.
Again, it was enough to catch me off guard.
It was
We'll put it
over
that way.
$1,000 a year to run the internet.
And you have to have internet to run the solar.
Mhm.
That's the way that
That's how they
Okay.
control.
I was
That's what I was
explained.
informed on.
It probably needs more looking into.
Okay,
And I gotta get with that Henry guy for the solar panels at the wastewater treatment plant, 'cause I think I figured out why they're not working. And, I want him to get in the panel, 'cause I don't like going around 480 volts electricity.
What?
So I'll ask him about the
okay.
pool.
Ask him about the pool too, okay. Because we'd like to track that and make sure that, it's, justifiable. Hey, good meeting, guys. Anything else here that, you can think of? We've got a lot of,
This is just something, when I read this, read the whole thing.
You did that. Are you ready for the quiz?
What's that?
Are
No.
you ready for the quiz?
He turned in a two-page report.
So, when
Got an
I,
A plus.
in the process of going through the recycling budget, I kinda ran through what our contract costs were in 2023, but it does have all the totals
Oh, nice.
for everything,
nice. Oh,
just for your FYI, and I think that one I'm not sure is correct.
Well, glass would be the
Okay.
most,
Would you mind
would be the
emailing me
most poundage.
Well,
interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. I think I gave it to, in one of the Public Works Committee meetings.
Oh, boy,
too.
okay, then, never mind, I probably have it
But I'll,
somewhere.
I'll email it to you.
Do I have it, Mike, also?
I don't think you do.
When you send it to Chelsea, will you include me?
If
This is
I don't
awesome.
send,
Or if you send it to me, I'll send it to Chelsea.
Whichever works.
because I just gotta remember.
Huh.
I don't remember.
Will you send it to me too, email, and then I'll send it out to everybody
Yeah,
on the board?
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, that's interesting.
This is, wow, this is
And
kind of an
I have each
eye-opener.
one kind of broke, I'll send them all, out. Each one's broke
Negative
down.
null. Is that plus?
But
the
it's kind of
negatives
amazing
mean-
too,
I think the recycling center is 27 in the hole, right?
Is that what that means?
Yeah, well, that's what it costs us
Okay,
to
got it,
handle
yeah.
that, yeah.
Okay,
And here's the breakdown
Okay.
of each one of those. That goes with that.
oh, cool.
But it's kind of, it made me wonder if you figured out all the cost, because like the glass goes from here to Missoula, gets busted up into small pieces so they can pack it, then it gets shipped to Denver.
The
Then-
carbon
then it
footprint is
gets-
probably not worth it.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets crushed there, so it gets unloaded, crushed, reloaded, then it gets shipped to like South Carolina, some of it.
And that's why nobody else has glass.
And I just wonder what
Yeah,
the
it
carbon
really
footprint is.
doesn't- It doesn't make sense.
And the cardboard, I haven't been able to figure out where it goes, other than some of the, and I know like our cardboard in Shoto, a lot of it went to Seattle and went back to China
Yeah,
on container ships,
that's pretty.
where it was supposedly burned.
Oh, God
Anything
almighty.
that goes on a
So,
container ship,
I
like
mean,
one container
yeah.
ship, like, has more pollution than a giant
But,
city
but
does.
they're hauling it, hauling
Yeah.
it cheap, cause they're empty going
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
And basically, they're hauling it, like Jimmy Flipwoods is hauling it from Great Falls to Seattle, because he basically
Thank you,
gets
Monica.
just his fuel paid for, but he's going out there anyway to pick up steel. So,
So it's a little,
So I
it's
think
kinda
we,
interesting to think about.
yeah,
We build our
Yeah.
city hall
Is
out
it,
of
is
glass
it,
this
is
time.
it better to put it
We
into the
collect bottles, we do
landfill?
the whole earth cycling.
Does that have a smaller carbon footprint? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I hear you.
yeah.
In India, they put it into asphalt plastic and
Oh.
Yep.
that's pretty
Huh.
cool.
We
Yeah,
actually make
Yeah.
like, gravel out of glass, like you get and the machine isn't all that expensive. Chris Keys talks about it quite a bit, like you put the glass in, it breaks it down, softens it up.
Yeah.
And now you have gravel that you can distribute out. And
That would be interesting.
I almost wonder how much something like that costs versus what our glass
Yeah.
recycling
I think
costs.
she's
are.
right, it's
Oh.
only like
No,
10,000
the
bucks,
glass,
which, I mean,
what's it
I
cost
say
to
only,
get-
but when you
No.
think about the long-term expenses, like,
wow.
Grant
Okay,
for one of
there you
those
go.
machines, what they're,
Just for,
that,
cause, yeah, that's.
Maybe we could just have something like that and be like, here,
that's
then
what
kind
it
of-
costs us
we can
just
fill
to get it
bottles with
from
broken
here
glass.
Where's
Yeah.
to
Missoula?
Missoula.
But it costs $10,000 to get it from here to Missoula.
oh, well, let's get a machine.
Let's get the
Get one of those
machine. Let's get
machines
the
and then
machine.
sell gravel as a fundraiser.
Well, let's start
Yeah.
looking at grants.
So that's
Yes,
what,
I would
uh,
talk to Chris about that, cause she knows more about it, she actually looks at it.
Do you want this back?
yeah, that's
Okay,
what
thank you.
Livingston does, and the parks have that crushed
Yeah.
glass
Yeah.
walkways.
That'd be great
Yeah.
business to start here.
All kinds of people.
And they're very
Yeah.
pretty.
Like, and you can fill
No, that
bottles. I
would be
put that in
something to
front of
look
my
into,
house.
yeah.
Okay,
Start
I'm gonna
getting
put
dirt
down crushing glass. Glass locally.
We'll put it at the high
Mm,
school, it could be a
That would
part
be a
of their
grant we could look
curriculum.
into, because remember, that's what I was talking about there.
The
is
green
a
team
grant
can take care of
for-
it.
Mhm. Well, let's take a look at this kind of stuff, because this is how we can be helpful, hopefully with the city, is we can start looking for grants for some of these projects, because
if we're already $63,000 in the hole or whatever.
Well, we're not in the hole, 'cause we got $6 a month and from everybody.
She's talking general fund overall.
General
Yeah,
fund.
oh, general, I
Yeah.
thought you meant that it's recycling.
Okay, hate to have this, oh, we already went over 10 minutes. Bad, but this was a good meeting. Thank you very much.
Where's the new, oh, it's not there, never mind. You're good.
Anything else anybody else has to say?
Oh, just sorry for being late.
No, no worries. We're adjourned. Thank you.
But, Joy, we should probably get up to speed on energy conservation plan, et cetera.
Yeah, and
Yes.
you're mentioning all those things are